Gen Z are living in the era of highly advanced technology, where now there is an endless platform and a dependence towards social media as your main escape mechanism, a way to shape a new identity online, or where you can freely interact with endless people globally. We say that this is what forms a behavior and dependence towards social media from these Gen Z to always seek validation from people online, where they use social media as a main place to gain information and not do further researches about how they view certain issues or even their political stance panels, right? This is what we say is harmful because they shape their identity and value based on social media without any self-sufficiency or be able to express themselves in the real world freely, which will prove to you why is it bad for this Gen Z. 2 points of framing here. First of all, what is the characteristic of Gen Z in social media sphere? We say exactly because they're living in the generation where they grow up with the use of advanced technology. Social media is a popular platform to globally interact or socialize with people, where they now use TikTok as a form of entertainment, or they can endlessly scroll through short videos every day. This is where they see social media as their escape mechanism now panels, where this creates a different identity to be able to express themselves freely on online platforms such as Instagram, for example, now, where now they opt into social media to seek validation from a community, where they gain information about issues, for example, where now they're more exposed to trends with certain aesthetics in TikTok, or even to look at entertainment and etc. We will prove to you why then with this certain dependence is harmful towards this Gen Z. Second point here, what does not actively engaging look like? We say that now as a Gen Z, we do not see social media as the main place to always seek for validation in an online community, engage with online friends every day, for example, or look at sensational issues about your favorite TikTok stars. Now even if we still use social media, we are going to set a boundaries or a certain schedule. For example, we only use it on the weekends, or we only use one social media such as TikTok, for example. We create a boundaries towards our identity, and we do not invest towards establishing an identity on social media, where now we are going to be focusing more on creating our identity, such as our skills on real life, for example, how we create meaningful interaction and etc., which will prove to you why is it better on our side. 2 things to prove here then. First, why as a Gen Z it is in line with our interest to not actively engage in social media, and 2, how on a practical level creates a harmful perception towards information, choice making and interaction in real life, in their daily life. Moving on then on my first argument, how actively engaging in social media perpetuates a blurry boundaries between reality and social identity, which isn't suitable for Gen Z. Panels realize how the context now is Gen Z is very dependent towards the social media panels, where they have a behavior, how they see social media as their escape mechanism. This looks like how in Instagram, how they not only have a first account, but they also have a dump account, for example, because now they seek validation from other people online, or how the first way to gain validation or comfort is to opt into Instagram and post a picture of yourself where the amount of likes, for example, defines your value or how you look panels, right? We say that this is what creates a social media as a place for these Gen Z to always interact with and always express themselves. Therefore, then 2 layers then, why within characteristic we propose. First layer then, how actively engaging in social media creates this dependence and shapes your identity here. We say that when you're dependent on this platform to express yourself, where now your self-sufficiency or your value is always built upon whether or not people online will be able to validate you, for example, or where now you are dependent to express yourself in this platform because you feel more comfortable to where you are not expressing your real identity in social media, where now you are free to follow different aesthetics and etc. We say that this is harmful because now this is where it creates a certain dependence to now create this do not have these boundaries between which is your social media identity and which is your real life identity, right? What now they are so attached in the social media where it's even hard for them to withdraw from their identity that have created, where now they are focusing more on building their social media identity, seeking validation online compared to be in real life, for example, how they're able to create meaningful interaction, spend more time to interact with your friends at school and etc. Therefore then second layer, why then shaping this identity is harmful towards this Gen Z. Panels exactly because now you're dependent, where it impacts your self-esteem and doubt towards this Gen Z. This is why it is harmful, because when in social media you're able to interact with people that you like, or towards entertainment, for example, where now you compare yourself to unrealistic standards because you follow celebrities that have an unrealistic standard of success, where they always indulge in luxury, and that is you set a standard that is what you should achieve in life, for example, or how your algorithm is upon materialistic things, for example, or aesthetics that you can cannot follow in real life, for example, right? We say that specifically for Gen Z, this is bad because when they're so aware of preserving their mental health, this is where they're prone to being affected mentally by the standards that are implemented, for example, or how certain comments on TikTok will be able to define their value or their looks because they are heavily affected by this. They seek this validation for others, and exactly when they have no control to withdraw this, we say it is harmful for them to always engage in social media and be dependent to them. This is where they do not focus on establishing their real identity or self-sufficiency, where you put your value, where you do not focus on putting your value because of shaping meaningful in skills or passions in real life, right? We say that comparatively to our side, when we are not going to engage actively, we're now be able to create a boundaries when you're able to express yourself or your identity in real life and on social media, where now your identity is real life is not always dependent on how you're always seen as social media as an aesthetic person, or where you always have to follow what your favorite celebrity likes, right? We say that this is important for the Gen Z because this is where that they are more prone to always be encaptured in this ego chamber by the validation that exists in social media. But then second argument, how this creates a homogeneous perspective of information and how it affects towards your decision making and interaction. Panels, we acknowledge that even if opposition says in social media there is many platforms to interact with now Gen Z are more woke, they can interact with other points of information and discussion. However, no panels realize how they mainly interact with whatever they suit their interest, right? Exactly because social media is based on your algorithm, where you're able to see your favorite celebrity panels or your favorite aesthetic, or how they are so influenced by sensational news that is posted by popular accounts such as Folkative, right? This is what they mainly interact with. Therefore, two layers. Why is this harmful? First, then, creating a bias or dependence perception towards what you engage in social media. Exactly because now social media is based on your algorithm or your interest, and whether you use this social media as a main platform to gain information about how you view certain situations, for example, or how you look at your political issues that are happening. This is when you're mainly only going to engage with it when you find it sensational or interesting, right? Where you also build your perception towards certain issues based on this certain social media, e.g. your political stance. How now when you vote is for Prabowo, it is so dependent on how you see their programs on TikTok, for example, without doing further research on their policy making and etc. Therefore, then we say that they're most likely to not do further research based on comparative on our side, where now we don't have a dependence. We're also still going to look at other forms of information in articles and etc., which is better. Second layer, then, how does dependence also impact social interaction? We say exactly because now social media, you see, you depend on it to gain information and engage or discuss with other people on this online platform. We say that now you're not going to focus on establishing your real life interaction, which is far more important. But this looks like how you're going to make meaningful connections with other people in your environment, where you're going to have to grow up with them in your college environment, or etc., or even how you're able to learn how empathy from other people on how they view other situations, because that is what they use real life emotions towards us, right? Now you're not able to focus on this. Therefore, we say it is harmful. So proud to propose.